This is DJ Maladroit from KCSC 88.1 FM, Santa Cruz, and I'm here with Adib Sin,
Hey, hello, hi.
and we're just gonna have a little chat for a bit.
No worries, yeah.
I've been going through your Twitter lately, and one thing I am very curious about is what are your favorite snack foods?
Oh God, I thought you were gonna ask something way more weird than that. Favorite snack foods. Actually, I don't really eat a lot of snacks at all. I'm kind of against snacks because I feel like if you want to eat something, you might as well just eat something that's like filling. So, actually against snack food.
Well, that's fair. What kind of
Yeah.
filling foods are you into?
I mean, if you were to get snack, I'd probably like get like a fruit or something, like an orange or an apple. But like in terms of food, little known fact, maybe it's a known fact, but I used to be a cook a while ago. I worked for a little ramen restaurant. Ramen is my favorite food in the world, and working in a ramen like restaurant as a cook was almost a dream come true. Yeah, actually, yeah, it's more of a dream come true than other than being a musician. So, yeah.
So you've been working at a ramen shop for a while?
I used to for a year and a half. Yeah. This is before my current job right now. So, yeah.
Do you have any stories from the ramen shop that are worth telling?
Oh God. I'll tell you how I got the job. I feel like that's an interesting story. So, I was sitting down at a bus stop, and at the time there was this very old Japanese man in his 50s, and he was taking up the whole bench, like where you sit. And I asked him to scoot over, and then one thing led to another. I was just like telling him, it's just like, oh, because I back at that time I was actually I just kind of moved around the area, which is Brisbane. So I was like, oh, is there any like good ramen places to eat? And he's like, oh, you should definitely like just come over to this place. Like he didn't explicitly say that it was like his shop or anything. Like he just said it's like, oh, you gotta come over like to this place. Like he wasn't endorsing it or whatever. Yeah, and I come in, and it turns out like he was the owner of the shop. And it was just, I don't know, like I ate there for a whole year, and as a joke I said, it's like, hey, when can I like get behind the counter and like cook kind of thing. And it's like, oh, you can start tomorrow. Like I was like, oh, okay. It's just like, what is this, like a real job, or is this like just like just faffing about? And it's just like, oh no, like let's if you want to work here, you can work here if you want. So yeah, that was actually like, I know it sounds stupid, but it's a dream job for me. Yeah, I've always wanted to be a cook, so yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that.
No worries, yeah.
Where do you get your inspirations for your cover arts?
Inspiration cover art. Cover art is just before I took music, I actually took I took a almost like a diploma course. I don't know what the equivalent is, but I took a diploma course in fine arts. I kind of wanted to take a degree, like a major in animation kind of thing. So even before like music was a thing for me that like popped up, it's like, hey, maybe I should do this. I've always drawn stuff. I've always like animated. I've always been super into like Ghibli films. The films that came out of Japan, like Totoro or like Princess Mononoke and all that jazz. So like just been doing art for longer than I've been doing music, and I kind of want to marry both of them. Like I'm a huge like believer that like music has to be paired up with good art kind of thing. Like our art that's like appropriate to what you're trying to convey. Even if you're doing, let's say, like a dubstep track, for example, like like sometimes people come for the music for the art, but they stay for the music kind of thing. It's it's a whole package kind of thing. So since my music is naturally very melodic, it's very like beautiful, as I've heard people say, like the voices of an angel kind of thing. So I wanted to have this very like light, fluffy kind of like almost very like melancholic, very cute kind of aesthetic, which fits perfectly to my music kind of thing. But so it's important. Yeah.
What is your favorite Studio Ghibli film?
Oh my lord, that is a capital sin. I love all of them, but it's gotta be Spirited Away or Princess Mononoke. I mean, they're all amazing in my books. So yeah.
And do you have a favorite track from any of those films?
One Summer's Night from Joe. I forgot his name. Jesus. I'm gonna get lynched for this. Joe Hisaishi, whatever. On Summer's Days. It's the main theme from Spirited Away. Lovely track. It's probably one of my favorite piano pieces like ever made.
And going off music, how did you start producing music?
I feel like my life is just full of anecdotes. Like, I started making music because I hated music, and I know it sounded stupid, but back in the days, back in school, you know how people have their like kind of like niches. People have their little groups, kind of thing. And one of the groups that I hated the most was the musicians because you had them like sitting at the playground, like at the park, whatever, like at recess, and they're just playing their guitar and just singing Wonderwall, and it was annoying because they only know four chords and they sing the same songs every single day, and like you would walk past them, and then that have like loads of friends that'd be super popular that have like tons of just like fans around them. Like, this was like when I was like what, like 11 or 12 or something. So, and then me being the loser learner kid, the nerd, the computer nerd, like that was just in computer lab all day, just, whatever, like playing Unreal Tournament, whatever. Like I wanted friends too. I wanted to be cool. So as an, as an act of spite, almost, I took up a guitar. I bought a guitar, and then I started learning it just to prove that, like, oh, music is dumb. Music is so easy to learn. It's like, why do people even love this shit? Kind of thing. So I started playing just like very simple four chord songs, and after a while, like, I kind of like got very competitive with myself, and almost like, you know what? Yeah, like I'm gonna be so good at making music. Like that, like all those like music people, like the niche, the clique, whatever, like, they're gonna be so like, oh man, like Adib is way cooler. Like, yeah, like fuck these like nerds. I don't know. I just wanted to be popular, like somehow. Yeah. So I took music up as like an act of spite for the whole freaking art itself. Like I was like, music is dumb. And then it grew on me. I loved it. After like 4 years, 5 years, I genuinely got into it, and I started playing my guitar every day. And I only started making music, producing, like, I guess, for about 4 years now. But 2 years is when I started releasing music properly, and I mean, I don't have any like the momentum is still going, and I don't think I'll be stopping anytime soon. So yeah.
And going off that, what album or artist kind of ignited the spark for you to, get into music?
I think everybody knows this, but like it's actually two artists. One of them is Porter Robinson, and the other is Maddie. I've listened to them ever since, like, because we're in the same age group. So ever since we was like 14, 15, 16, like, since they were making music, like, in their bedrooms kind of thing, like, I've always been, like, closely following them. And then suddenly, both artists have grown in popularity, have grown in just, like, huge amounts of numbers. And that's something that I kind of, like, aspire to be. But I also work in the audio industry right now. Not in the same kind of, like, categoryism, like, be honest, like they're more of like touring like artists, performance artists kind of thing, but that's not really where I lay myself, like, where I want to be. It's like, I guess the direction that I take my music, even though they are a big inspiration, is just the way they portray just like emotions, the way they portray like their sounds, and the way they hone their craft is something that is for me very yeah, it's a very admirable, I guess. So yeah.
Going on, this is also from your Twitter. On February 21st,
Oh no.
2017, you posted, How to Write a Good Song 101. Be in a perpetual state of depression. Would you care to elaborate on that?
Oh God. Oh my God, I think this is very embarrassing. I feel like, I mean, I am far from being clinically depressed, or like emotions get involved, especially during like when you're creating an art piece, whether it's literature or drawings or movies or art. I mean, or music, sorry. I feel like one of the things I'm missing right now from current popular trends or music or whatever is that human touch, because everybody sees a product at its end stage. They listen to it and they can critique it. It's like, oh, I don't like the vocals, I don't like the instrumentals, whatever. Like they can say whatever they want. But for you as an artist, or someone who is a content creator, like you can spend up to around 300 to 400 hours making a 3 minute track that they will only listen to for about 3 minutes. So I feel like the depression or like the anxiety stems from not knowing what the outcome's going to be. Like you could have made a hit or a smash, or you could have made like a sleeper hit kind of thing. Like you could just make something that just resonates with like 5 or 10 people, which is great too, kind of thing. But I think that's where it comes from. Like the depression is not really about me or myself, but it's just about the anticipation of putting it out there. It's almost as if you spent your whole life making something and you're showing it to the world. I mean, of course, you are gonna get a bit of butterflies in your stomach, kind of deal. So that was what it was all about, kind of thing. Yeah.
If I have this correct, you've been traveling a lot, and by that I mean you've moved a lot.
Yes, I have.
Starting from living in the UK, I believe.
There you go. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And I guess my question is, do you take inspiration from all the traveling you've done?
I hate traveling. I absolutely hate it. I prefer to just bunker down in front of a table with a laptop or a computer. Like for me, I think a lot of people can relate to this at this day and age where their computer is their home, like a laptop, their internet is their home kind of thing. And for me, traveling places is just the hindrance of like just life in general. Like, sometimes like complications happen or you go to study somewhere else or whatever, like visa runs out or like, you have to move um along and like you have to move countries, cities, whatever, neighborhoods. But for me, yeah, like the inspiration is always has been from the internet, and I only had internet pretty like about midway through my life kind of thing, just because, the internet never existed back then for both of us. So that was before that it's always been like computer games, or it's always been like animations, like just like yeah, like just anime and stuff. Just like living in a fantasy world for me is what keeps me grounded in reality. And it's really weird to say that because reality for me, like me being right now here in my apartment kind of thing, is doesn't seem real to me.
This might be a little bit of a non sequitur, but
Let's go.
if you were to design your dream room, please describe how it would look, what furniture you would have.
Oh my God. It would be an empty room, like just a cube, white walls, a table slap bang in the middle, and a rolly chair, speakers, and my laptop. That is it. Like an internet and Wi-Fi. That is it. That's all I need in life.
Video gaming or computer gaming has been an inspiration for you.
Yeah.
Is there a preferred genre?
Oh, for genre, it's got to be like adventure games or MMOs. Like, I feel like I'd be better like to explain myself like about like why I said like fantasy worlds are more grounded in reality for me than reality itself. Like, what I mean by that is because I mean, I think people have heard of like MMOs, which is like massively multiplayer online role playing games. So games like back then it was like Ultima Online, like now it's like World of Warcraft, like Final Fantasy, just like these game worlds that are like, always connected and you always see people walking around. That's just generally what I tend to play every day. Just like after work, I'm just open my laptop and just get soaked in the music, the atmosphere, just that kind of vibe. So yeah, definitely I think MMOs and adventure games in general.
And I've also seen you playing some simulation games, if I recall, like Animal Crossing, for instance.
I have. I love that.
Well, what is your experience playing a simulation game like that?
Like Animal Crossing, I don't tend to get a lot into investing in a video game, like other than like MMOs in general. But like, I don't know, it's just for me, I like the idea of starting from nothing again. And it's a reason why I tend to kind of like very controversial here, but I tend to almost want to start new again. Like every single year, I just want to like refresh my sound. Like every single year, I just want to do something that I haven't done last year. And it's games like Animal Crossing that just lets me like, let's say I play the game for about 3 months and I don't like it. I can just reset the whole game and start off as if like nobody knew me. And that for me is a very refreshing kind of take. Is a reason why I don't tend to make a lot of friends. I don't tend to make a lot of close friends because I just like refreshing, like just restarting new and just like having a new perspective on like life every year kind of thing. So Animal Crossing does that for me, where you play for 4 months, you just get rid of the save file and you start a new house. You build your house around like what your current interests are, and yeah, so yeah.
You have a very introspective personality.
Thank you. I feel like that's why I have a musician.
Yeah, that would make sense. Also, given your lyricism. So, my next question is, can you recall a time where you were talking to a complete stranger, and for some reason, you still think about it from time to time?
Oh my God. I feel attacked. Actually, stranger. Yeah, there was one stranger. I was at the airport. I think it was Singapore. Yeah, it was Singapore. And this lady, very cute. She was Japanese. She dropped her passport on the floor and she was running towards like her flight. I think she was like the gate was leaving already and it was closing. It was a flight to Tokyo. And I remember she was running so fast for someone who was like 5 foot. Like not me, but the lady herself. Like she just ran so fast. She dropped her like passport, like her boarding pass and everything. And she just like I was like, ah shit. Like, so I picked it up and I kind of like sprinted like halfway through like the terminal just to find her and kind of thing. I was like, and then I gave her the passport. I said, "Hey, you dropped it." It's like, yeah. And she was like, "Oh, thank you so much." It's like, you're such a great person. I was like, "Do you want anything in return?" I was like, "No. I just want you to fly safely. Just, go back." Yeah. And I don't know. Ever since then, I've just like, I felt like if she wasn't in such a rush, I felt like we could have probably became friends or like someone that is I can, just probably talk to for like a week or two before just never talking to her again. But yeah, it's one of those things that's just I don't think about it now, but it's just that's what's on top of my head, I guess, when you asked me that. Yeah.
Do you think experiences like that kind of affect your attitude towards?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the music that I make is based on relationships or friendships that don't exist. Like as if you've always have to put yourself in the shoe of someone who is in love or someone who is feeling pain or someone who is feeling homesick or something. Like I don't feel those things at all, but I have to put myself in the shoes of someone who feels that way. And so one of the things that people I guess like about my music is the relatability, where people are like, "Oh, Dave, like I listened to your song, I cried today, I thought about my boyfriend or I thought about my ex." And that is totally not what I go for with my music, but the effect is there because like it's like my music is meant to be as ambiguous as possible when it comes to like a sense of like feeling something, so that I feel like it just can relate to as much people as it can. And I feel like that's what separates like good music from just music in general. Like even without words, like certain instrumentations or even orchestral pieces like can evoke a sense of happiness or sadness. I think that's the most powerful thing, like tool in like a musician's kit, is that they have to somehow make up emotions that they don't even feel.
Well, that's all the questions I had.
Thank you.
Do you want to say anything to your audience?
Thank you, everyone who's been listening to my music. It's been about 2 years now, almost 3, I think. I'm sorry I don't put out a lot of music. I can assure you that I have a lot of new stuff in the works. I'd also like to thank you, actually, for the interview. I think it's been a very eye-opening experience, even for me.
Well, thank you too, Adib. This was a very nice interview as well for me.
Yeah. I mean, you have a great radio voice too, so yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been on air for 3 years at this point.
3 years, no worries. No worries, yeah.
And currently I'm doing a video game show.
Woo!
Yeah, I have this kind of attitude when it comes to doing music for my show that I have to like not know too much about it. And
yeah.
Even if I grew up playing it, like Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, mostly the PS1 era stuff, I didn't really get into the music until much later in
Yeah,
high
I
school.
understand. I understand, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, with now this is kind of memey, but with the Sonic the Hedgehog series, yeah, soundtracks for those games are very, very lit.
They are. We talk about like Green Hill Zone and like Chemical Plant. They're great. They're obviously just great. But yeah,
Ooh, that's a good question. Favorite Sonic track from any game?
Chemical Plant, easy.
Why do you say that?
I mean, once again, like the whole like art marries the music kind of thing. Like just when that stage hits and you see all these like pipes everywhere and like all the like power lines. It's just and the beat itself is very like I mean of course the chip back then and the Sega consoles more like 8-bit for so it always did sound electronic, but there's something about like this very rigid beats. It's a very funky song also. Like it just I don't know why like it just stuck with me the most.
Have you played any of the current games?
Any current Sonic games? Sonic Mania. I played a bit of it. It's pretty great.
I actually haven't played it. The last one I played was Sonic Generations.
Generations is good too. That's an amazing game also. Yeah.
It's what actually got me into music, I would say, Sonic Generations. I guess that says something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for me, like the game that really got me into like video game music, and this is I mean I'm not afraid to say it, but like it was actually about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when I listened to Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, the Zelda games for the 64. Like the soundtrack in them are like eerily beautiful, and that's when I actually started to get an appreciation for video game music in general. Yeah, it was just like those two games.
Did you grow up with a Nintendo 64?
No, I mean in Asia, like in general, like because my dad was in Japan and the PlayStation was legit taking off. Like Nintendo was like doing its thing too, but man, the PS1 was like a beast back then. Like even in Asian markets, even like just the PlayStation was just everywhere. Like almost it was like an 80-20% split like between Nintendo and like Sony. So just everybody had a PS1. I had a PS1, so yeah. I mean, I did get to play Spyro, which is the best game in the world. So yeah.
Really, Spyro?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, the whole trilogy, the whole three good games.
Are you excited for the remaster that's coming out?
I don't have a PS4.
Okay.
I'm sad.
I really like the additional conversation there.
No worries. Yeah, yeah. I feel like that's the where the magic happens, the additional conversation. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. Just hit me up. Probably like whenever you want to have an interview again. But good luck to all your radio stuff, dude. I hope it takes off.
Thank you, and good luck with you. I've
No
really been
worries,
enjoying
man.
your stuff since the beginning.
Thank you so much. That's still surreal. I can't get used to it. Yeah. So yeah, thank you. All right. You have a good day.